Hey, welcome to KF&JF podcast today. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, we got a guest here today that I am so proud to have on our show. She is an outstanding community leader. So we want to make sure we get right into this conversation with her. I'm going to cut some of the normal stuff that I do and try to talk about myself, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pass it over to my host right now.
Hi, everybody. I'm the CEO and founder of United Minority Business Ventures. My company assists in the creation and the maintenance of other people's businesses by forming opportunities to communicate. I also assist in building your marketing profile, creating your marketing strategy, building your financial profile for your business, or assist in branding your product or merchandise, managing your website and selecting posts that create subscriptions and comments and likes. Or we may assist by generating comments that create a dialogue of conversation that's directed towards your page. And we also help navigate through the thousands of companies asking you for money when there's free companies out there. And it's just a matter of starting from the ground level or having pre-existing funds to buy into something else. And I would like to just thank you, Shala. I hope I said your name right. For being on the podcast today and coming to share with us.
Well, Shayla, as everybody have learned as they come on this show, that it's one of those things that we want to keep as natural as possible. We're trying to make sure that you get a chance to share with our audience and viewers exactly the information you want them to hear. The questions that we're going to have is, minuscule to the information that you're going to be able to provide. So I'm going to stop there and have you introduce yourself.
Okay, well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me today. So I'm Shala Waines. I am the CEO and founder of the Soul Swap Me here in San Diego. We started our Soul Swap Me back in 2018, but kind of like ramped it up in the middle of the pandemic. So we started back in September of 2020. Our ultimate goal is to uplift, promote Black entrepreneurs, small businesses, creators in a way for them to have a marketplace and a way for them to gain exposure for the passions that they have. So I love what I do, and we've been going for about 4 years now. So very excited and very happy for where we are now, from where we started from.
One of the things I would like to ask you is what inspires you?
What inspires me is I've always tried to strive to be like my mom was. My mom was just a dope individual. That's the only way I could put it. And so the people that know her, when they see this, they'll be like, you didn't even need to explain. We know how your mom was. But my mom had 4 children. I came from like a 2-parent household, but to see her like grind the way she was able to grind, she worked for credit unions or banks, or she worked for Amtrak. That's all I know. But I know that we had a really good upbringing, and she's my inspiration. I just want to get up every day and do the best that I can, and you know, leave a mark in the world, leave a mark for my children and my loved ones, my family members.
You know, that's one of the things that we all strive to do, when we're in business and we're trying to leave that legacy, right? We're trying to leave the something behind for our family to so they don't have to struggle the same way we did. It's what our parents were doing their whole life, working hard and doing all those things. So I find that to be something that connects our generation and our people together, because that's all they struggle to do, was to make sure we did not have to fall on our faces, and by them working hard and doing those things. So can you tell our listeners a little bit about what you're currently working on?
So right now we have partnered with some of the junior colleges here in San Diego for us to be able to work with like their Black student unions and the different, urban organizations on their campuses for us to tap into the entrepreneurship on campus, at the different colleges. So we just had our last one last weekend on the 17th at Palomar College in San Marcos. It was a really good event. First time ever been on a college campus. We had about 33 vendors for our first one. So our next one will be at San Diego City College. And we hope to gain more exposure for the event and just let entrepreneurs know there is a place for them to showcase their businesses and get that customer and client base that they need to be successful and survive.
Well, we want to be able to help make sure that you can get that information out. So please let us know if you have any flyers or anything that we can do to make sure that we post and send people there as well. So I'm really, really interested in seeing how that work and partnering with you on that as well. I wanted to ask you also about a unique fact about yourself that nobody else knows about.
Uh, unique about me. Um, I'll say this. So I am very outgoing. I'm a very outgoing person. I used to like to go out a lot, just be like out in the social scene and stuff like that. But I am a homebody. I don't think people know that. It's so crazy because as soon as I get inside from the outside world, I'm immediately in the shower, putting my house robe on. And my daughter like kind of looks and blinks like, how did you we just got home. This is my comfort space being at home. You pay bills to be here, you set it up the way you want it to be, and it's for you. And I love being at home. And I thank God every day that I actually have a home that I can wake up to, situate it the way I want to, make sure it's clean the way I want it to be. I don't have anybody, in my space. It's just me and my daughter here at this time. And I just love being at home. And this is my creative space, being at home. So I'm a homebody. That's
Well,
unique about
that's one of the things that as you get older, we start to realize that
I'm
our,
only 40. I will be 40 in 2 weeks. Okay.
oh,
So I've been on this earth for 40 years. And let me tell you, outside used to be my home. But the older I get, every year it's like, woo,
yeah,
you can
yeah.
get me to go outside because I can't do it.
It's a trap all by itself. So you're right about
Yeah.
coming in the house and just closing the door and just taking advantage of the things you work for. That's pretty much what you're talking about, is making sure
Yeah.
not only you show your family, but you're around your family and you're there to take in all of those things that you work for, the clean house, the food in the refrigerator, all of those things that you put together. So coming home is more important than anywhere else you got to go. Somebody says, hey, I want you to come over here and I'll be able to come over and kick it with us. Like,
It's like,
I know I got some meat in the refrigerator. I know that I got stuff I can eat. I got my wine on chill. I think we're
the
gonna have to
best
do
thing
this.
for me as I'm growing up is cancel plans. Yes.
Cancel
I'm gonna
plans.
do it anyway.
Man,
That's crazy.
big difference. Big difference.
Yeah.
Can you recall an event or something that set you on the path that you are on today? Is it something that is specific that led you to this work that you're doing?
What ultimately led me to this is just being like a number for an organization or corporation, just working for corporate America, having to almost beg for time off to go see your child, at an award ceremony or a field trip. You get sick. It's like, how many days you gonna be sick? I'm sick. I don't know how many days I'm gonna be sick for. It was just that constant shadow of not being independent and not really zoning in on what I'm good at, because a lot of jobs hire you for what they want you to do versus what you're good at. And I know I'm good at planning. I'm good at, executing events, doing it from, start to finish. And, I like to see people win. The ultimate goal is to see people win and not to struggle. So it just came from like life, just going through life and, working for different businesses and just knowing that I was not considered an asset. I was just another employee, and knowing everything that I could bring to a table. It kind of, everything just kind of just eventually was just like, okay, when you start calling in for work and when you start sitting at your desk just outside of what you're supposed to be doing at work, and you're just like dreaming and you got other goals and ambitions, it's like you can't be sitting at no desk for 9 hours, and it's hard. It'll take a toll on you because you know what else you could be doing, and it really can affect you in the inside. So
I think
just
you
being a
said
regular
something.
human.
Woo. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I think you're
Yeah,
saying
that's a
something
lot.
important, very important, because that's one of the things that I did. I would go to work and then I'll be like, man, I gotta be here 8 hours. By the time I get home, the day's over. It's so much so many other things I want to do, and I'm sitting there twirling my head, and uh, my whole body is just like, I need to get out of here. I need to find something
Yeah.
else to do. Maybe that's one of the things. Is there a hobby or something that fulfills you that you do besides you going to the gym and working out?
Um, I'm also like I love my people. I love the people who I know. Like my friends in Virginia. I have a lot of good friends in Virginia. I have family in Virginia. I have some really good close friends here in San Diego. But I think it's more like just connecting with them, seeing what they got going on in life. Seeing the little kids, watching them grow up, being little ones, and now they're big ones. One of my ultimate passions right now is assisting my daughter with exiting high school. She just told me yesterday she wants to be an ultrasound technician, and I'm just like, wow, that's different out of all the fields you could choose. But she loves children, so for her to, be kind of like the first one in contact with the kids before they're even born, I think it's pretty amazing. So, we're just working on getting her done and getting to college, and I'm going to be 40. So, how Stella got a groove back, that's going to be my place. So, kind of waiting on that.
You said that out loud. That wasn't nobody else that said that but you.
Yeah,
You said that out loud, and I know you. I don't know if you meant to, but you actually said it out loud. And
I got a lot of living to do before I leave this earth. So
yeah,
my
yeah.
daughter's exiting. My son is gonna be 22 this year. My daughter's gonna be 18. Like my niece is good. My nephew's good. Like my family's good. I'm about to be good. It's me
Oh,
time now. So
wow,
I
yeah.
did my due diligence. So I'm good.
Well, Shayla, one of the things I wanted to say is that when you were talking about getting your groove back, I wanted to ask you, is that something that you're working on now, or is it just something you're gonna happen? It's gonna happen. Is it gonna happen all at once when she's out of the house?
Well, it's kind of like starting because, like I said, I'll be 40 in 2 weeks, and I'll be going to Las Vegas with one
That's
of my really good friends, and then we're going to be going to New Orleans at the end of March as well. So I've never been to New Orleans. I'm super excited about it. I've been to Vegas a million times, but excuse me, I've never been with her, and we have like itinerary an itinerary set up. So that's my first time having like a whole schedule, and you got to be on time, and we're gonna see how it goes because she's never
I
on
don't
time.
know. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm from Louisiana, and you talking about going to New Orleans. You may not get your groove back. You may get your it may you be might be running and all kinds of stuff may happen to you out there in New
She's from
Orleans.
New Orleans, so
I'm from
we're not going
Louisiana.
blind. She from New Orleans, so we're not going blind. She know where we should go and should not go, and
Well, you better hold
hopefully it
on
works out.
to her hand. And then I'm just gonna say that wherever you go, you make sure you hold on to her hand because
I
somebody gonna
will.
snatch you right up off of Bourbon Street and mess around. You're gonna be sending you're gonna be sending letters home saying I don't know where I'm at, but I think I'm near the water.
Say,
All right,
when you
So
be
go
Doc.
going
ahead. You need to ask the question.
when you be going to these different places, do you find yourself either interested in finding like the swap mall black community vendors, entrepreneurs when you go out there, or do you just go out there and you're able to just like disconnect? It's like a vacation.
Um, so when I go out of town and out of this different to go to different states, I always like to go to the black communities. And sometimes I like to go to the communities that they're like, you have no business being there. But I like to see how people really live. We see things on TV, just like everyone thinks that in San Diego it's nothing but surfers, or in LA it's nothing but gang members. It's just what you see on TV. So I want to get out of, seeing what's on TV and actually witness things. So yeah, I always patronize like the black restaurants. I'm looking for the stores with the clothes, like all of that. But I do like to get out of my zone when I go out of town and just be me. But I gravitate towards black people, so it's just something natural that's going to happen anyway. So
I heard that. That's always something to do right there. I feel the same way.
yeah.
What was one of the most challenging situations you've had faced, and how did you navigate through it as far as business and or life in general?
So one of the major challenges with the Soul Swap Meet was dealing with the county of San Diego. It was a huge challenge for our food entrepreneurs to be able to get outside and showcase their talents in their food world without the county of San Diego, the health department wanting them and requiring them to have um, temporary food facility permits, or myself as being an organizer, we had to have a permit. So that means it's funds that have to be before you even get a chance to showcase your business. You already have to have money. And it was kind of backwards because if you're an entrepreneur and you're just getting out there, the last thing you have is like money, you're just trying to get that product or that food out there for people to say, is it a go or is it not? Should I even invest in this, doing this long term and stuff? So we had a lot of run-ins with the county, the health department. I had to turn entrepreneurs down because they couldn't afford to get the permits. But like as we've continued on this journey, we've had different organizations step in where they wanted to help these food entrepreneurs get out there. Sister Cities Project is one of them. They came through and they actually kind of created a grant for food vendors in San Diego. So I was allowed, I was able to push like a lot of them that way so that they can get like, the education and the knowledge that they need behind selling food in San Diego, but then also being able to obtain that permit that was required in order for them to sell food. But other than that, we didn't have too many challenges. Once we put the word out that the Soul Swap Meet was going to start, that was in September of 2020. We had 35 vendors for the first event. And then after that, for like a whole 12 months, it was just 100 plus entrepreneurs and we had waiting lists. It was so serious back in the middle of the pandemic that these people were out here able to feed their families and then kind of exceed that, because some people were working, some were laid off, some were working from home. Everybody's situation was different. But as long as we could come in there and be the middleman and make sure everybody was eating and everybody was good, that's all that mattered to me. And that's what I continue to do.
Wow.
Would
As you
you
talk about that struggle, that's hard.
of triumph, or that was does it stand out as a significant accomplishment that you made right there by being able to get people together, or they just they just gravitate towards each other, right? So they just came out of nowhere and you guys just bonded, or was there another type of situation how that all came together?
So basically, like once the registration went out on the website and the flyer went around, and we had the platform of Black San Diego, that's a major group in San Diego on social media. So at that time, I was able to utilize that platform to kind of get the word out. So once the word started spreading, I mean, it was phenomenal, crazy. I mean, we had like thousands of people coming to the Soul Swap Meet when we were at the Encore Event Center on Ronson Road in San Diego. It was just, I mean, it was just, it was a time. It was like a reunion for a lot of people. They would come, people were coming, people were literally planning their vacations, like to go to Las Vegas or LA, coming from other states around the Soul Swap Meet so that they could come. I remember meeting a family that drove down from Las Vegas. They were on vacation. They were like, we planned this around this event. We had vendors drive from Arizona. We had our furthest vendor was from Atlanta, Georgia. We had vendors from LA, like all in between. It was just an amazing time. It was so positive and everybody was winning. It was like when I think about it, because it comes on my memories on Facebook, it's just like I can't believe this just came from like an idea. Like, what about Black people getting together and selling products in a safe space and kind of like trying to exit out of corporate America eventually, but let's get those products out there. Let's get them on websites. Let's sell them to Target. Let's have celebrities wear your clothes, or take your
Right.
skincare products. Like that's the way we're aiming. We need real people who have a voice and have like a major platform to assist us with these entrepreneurs excelling beyond what I can do. So it's a lot. We
So
definitely aiming.
yeah, that sounds like a lot going on right there. And so you're managing all this stuff, and do you have products that you also have, or is it just the management? Because you're kind of like sounding like you're along the lines of how my business is. You're managing other people's business. You're getting them out there. You're trying to introduce them to places and people that they wouldn't ordinarily just see during the day, right? Or
Right.
during the business day. So my next question would be like, who are the individuals that are your mentors or like your role models that influence you about your values and your mindset, as you're going through this journey, and these people are pulling into you, and in a sense you're leading them, you're a leader, right?
Yeah.
And they're following behind you because you have the best thing. But how did you get that way? Who influenced you to have that mindset like that?
So my mother was a very strong individual. So just off top, just coming from a strong background of my mother, she didn't take no stuff. Like you couldn't run no game on her, and I'm the same way. You know what I mean? So um, I did have a few people who talked to me like previous to me starting the Soul Swap Me, like Dane Henderson. That's one of my mentors. I remember the first time I met him. He didn't know me from anywhere, and when he met me, he was like, "You have something in you, and I need you to keep going. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're gonna get far."
Right.
And so, for a black man to meet me for the first time and feel my energy, and just know that I was going to be successful, it was like mind blowing, So I don't really have too many people that I consider like a mentor or that I look up to because a lot of what I do is based off of my own journey that I've traveled. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I kind of like it's myself who's taught me certain certain things about how to be, how to speak, know when to change when you need to change, and when to give up when you need to give up. Everything is not meant to pursue for a long time. If it's not making sense, then just let it go. So I've endured my own challenges. So I learned from myself, mainly from me. I don't have nobody that I call on a regular basis and ask them for knowledge. It's kind of hard to trust people. So sometimes people will steer you wrong and gonna give you the bad information just to see you kind of crumble and fall. So I've learned to stick to myself and ask myself the questions and provide the answer myself.
Whoa, shoot, that sounds like a strong black woman right there. Ain't nobody gonna stop that. That's where all that come from. You said your
Independent
mother.
right there.
It's not
Yeah.
really. It's your mother. That's who giving you everything that you're putting forward today.
Yeah.
And a
Right.
lot of women out there need to know that they don't need to rely on like a man to help them make those decisions and help them to build what they're trying to build in their life, because you have power, you have the ability, you have the knowledge, and you're willing, like you said in your conversation there, to change when something is not working. You're willing to change. Men are not so willing to change. We keep doing till we beat our head against the wall and then find out, oh, was that blood? Yeah, that was blood. You need to change from hitting your head against the wall. So, and
Yeah.
I think that's something that you bring to the audience, and our listeners that are out there, that is so powerful. It's one of those things that I'm proud to hear you say, and to see your strength behind that. So I just want to ask you, just for myself here, how do you see the swap meet? How do you see it growing, and what type of clientele do you want it to be as far as vendors?
So as far as where I see the vision of the Soul Swap Meet, I do see it going to multiple cities and multiple states because there are entrepreneurs everywhere. Sometimes it's just that entrepreneurs, they may have an idea, they don't know how to bring it out, or they have the product, they don't know where to showcase it. So we want to always be the trailblazer or that platform that's needed for anyone that has a dream and they just kind of stuck, like, I don't know where to go from here. But as far as the clientele, I want real clientele for these entrepreneurs and these businesses. I don't want anyone trying to lowball them. If you can't take the price for what it is, and you're probably not going to be a good match for their business, I want customers and potential clients to treat these entrepreneurs like they will Macy's. If you're going in there for some Jimmy Choo perfume, you're gonna pay for Jimmy Choo perfume, and you're not getting a discount. If it says $89, it's $89. You're gonna buy that with the
Right.
tax, and you're gonna walk out happy. And that's the ultimate goal for these entrepreneurs. Your price point is your price point, and this is what it is. And they need to be in an environment where people respect that. They respect the craft and their time and all of that, and they just gonna pay for it or they gonna keep it pushing. So we are looking for clientele that's really there to support a black business and also really there to support the product or the food that they have. And that's it.
Mm, Lord have mercy. I love that, because I was going to say, it is so important. It's kind of like what we're trying to do here is uplifting the black community and bringing them to, you know, helping them realize that they are somebody, that they whatever, because sometimes the prices and people, they willing to go pay for Macy's, or they're willing to go pay for all these other stores and buy that stuff, but they're not willing to go and shop with someone that has a black-owned business. And my sister is really good at that because she got black dentist, black doctor, black carpet cleaner, black. I mean, she goes down the whole list, and I'm like a black plumber. I'm like, sis, and she's teaching me that's where you better spend your money. I know I pay a little bit more, but I'm still, or whatever it is, she's willing to make sure that that's how she goes about her life. And and we're so used to just having to go for the cheapest guy, or to going for someone that they
Right.
think that's going to be that, instead of trying to build the community and uplift it. And I think that that's something that I'm really proud to hear you say, and I'm proud of you. And just all of this is just great for everybody to understand. So all you guys that are out there that are just kind of like thinking that you don't have the ability to do it, listen to
Yeah.
this beautiful lady right here, and you will find a new way in running your business. But the other thing also is that you're giving value to the black ownership. Like you have product. Sell your product for what you think your product is. That's what it is. And then you're giving them value, that saying, I have this venue that I want to showcase you as a black business owner. And I'm just overwhelmed by that, and it just kind of makes me feel like this is on the right path. So what are some of the mistakes you've made? Talk about
Um,
some mistakes.
oh, no, they there. So the mistakes, like I told y'all, I'm very transparent. I don't like to hide nothing. One of my biggest mistakes was being vocal. Like, because I created something and I didn't expect it to blow up as quick as it did and how big as it did, and dealing with, you know, I was dealing with over 200 businesses a month. You know what I mean? So that's 200 different personalities, and it was just a lot I was dealing with. And so sometimes I would voice how I felt, like on social media. Yeah, and I'm very transparent. So sometimes it backfired. It shouldn't have said that. Like, why would you put that on social media? It was a lot. It was a lot. My mouth could definitely get reckless at times, but in 4 years I've worked on that. So I try not to. That's why my circle got smaller, so that I could depend on certain people for me to vent to. You know what I mean? And I knew it was in a good, safe space to do that.
How
Um,
about your personal social circle?
yeah, my personal social circle versus going on social media with 5,000 followers who really don't care what's going on. They just want the drama, the tea. So, I learned that way. Also, I used to say yes all the time. Even if it didn't make sense, I would say yes. And, people want me to join their events and have vendors here at this and that. And it was like, I would say yes because I didn't want anyone to think I was arrogant or cocky. And it's like, I guess you got to do it, so that people won't think otherwise of you. But as I grew myself mentally and as a human being and as a business, everything doesn't make sense. Everything doesn't have to go together. And it's okay to say no, not now. So instead
Right.
of just saying no, I'm like, I'll get back in touch with you. We'll see if it's a good fit and then go forward from there versus me making myself feel I was obligated to take on this partnership or something. And it made no sense. I mean, do I care about people that live outside of the United States? Yes. But I really can't help fund 6 kids in Africa, and there are 6 kids around the corner that I know that need more help. Like, it was just a lot. It was
Right.
it was just every time I turned around, it was someone, and I'm just like, I really is it. Some of them didn't make any sense, and I'm like, if it don't make no sense to me, I know it didn't make no sense to them. Why are they calling me for this? Like, what? Why? You know. Um. Then also, allowing certain venues to take advantage of me, knowing that I was new to it. You know what I'm saying? So I went through a lot of ups and downs, and learning that these vendors and entrepreneurs, they're not my friends. They'll act like that so they can get what they want out of me. But at the end of the day, they're not. They're always going to have something to say. If they made $5,000 on this Saturday and only 1,500 on that Saturday, that was my fault. So it was like, I've dealt with a lot, and I've learned to step back and just don't say nothing, and just keep it moving. Like, I can't please everybody, from the location, from the vendor fee. So it doesn't matter. It's always going to be someone that is going to complain. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. So once I learned to stop trying to please everybody and be the people pleaser and the satisfier, everything got better for me. And I took a lot of stress off of myself because it's like, hey, you can go somewhere else, at the end of the day, because I don't have to beg anyone to want to make money and to win.
That's
So
right. That's right. That's right. I think you.
That's one of the things I was going to ask you when you were saying all that. How is the I guess the mental health, the depression and anxiety, how does all that work into holding that weight for you're a leader, right? So I mean, all these people are doing these things and not really appreciating what you are actually providing for them. I mean, how does it? I don't know if you want to touch on that, but how does it feel like on an inner part, as you go through doing this every day?
so basically 2020, 2021, I was good. Like, I didn't have no issues. I was good. Everybody was winning, everything was good. But it's kind of like when the pandemic kind of ended, if you will, like the end of 2021 going into 2022, that's when business kind of slowed down because people now had to go back to work. They were going back to their actual jobs, and sports were back in for the kids. So it's like kind of, when we started it, it was in a space that was needed. It was a time that it was needed. Like, people needed to figure out how to get out of these holes that they were in because of the pandemic. So when the pandemic was no longer like a threat, that's when things kind of went down. And I was still planning the Soul Swap Meet because I still believed in what it did. I've seen it produce, winners. I've seen it produce businesses. So then when it started to slow down, I would always doubt myself, like, okay, is it going to be a lot of crowd like it used to be? Are they going to be upset if they don't make as much money as they did in the middle of the pandemic? I always put the wins of them on myself. But at the end of the day, I'm like, you can't keep doing that, because if you have a good product and it's going to sell, it's going to sell. I'm not talking about the people who come out there and they sit in their tents and on their cell phones the whole time. I'm not talking about them. Those aren't winners to me, because that's someone that's not out there working for the business that they need to make their business be successful. You know what I'm saying? You got to stand up. You have to attract people. You have to have a nice setup. You have to believe in what you're selling and know it's worth people buying, and you got to talk to them that way. You know what I mean? So the Soul Swap Meet, not only was it a platform for people to sell their products and things like that, but it was a stepping stone. It was a schooling, because some of these people had never talked to their potential customers before face to face. It was always online. Now you got the person standing in front of you. You got to keep that same energy behind the keyboard as you are in person. You got to still make this sale. So they were learning, they were making connections, they were mingling with one another. They were, networking, and, if someone sold shirts, that person's a printer. It's like, whoa, now I could get my shirts printed through you for a lower cost. And, it was just a lot going on. But I did carry a lot on me because I always wanted to make sure everyone was successful. But I had to stop back and be like, their success is not on your back. You do what you're supposed to do as a business owner, as an event coordinator, event planner. You do your marketing the way it's supposed to be. You print flyers. You guys do foot trafficking. You don't just leave it to social media. You guys get out there and grind. You're on the radio. You got news stations out there. You're on the front page of the business section in the San Diego Union Tribune. Like, we're really making things shake. Now you got to be the last shaker as the entrepreneur. Like, I can't do it for you. I can't sell your products for you.
Well, I think you make a very important point, because I've seen exactly what you're saying. They're from the people who are afraid to go and be in front of the face of the customer. They're so used to being back there and not having the conversation and know how to have that. They're the people who sit there on their phone, like you're saying, and thinking someone's just going to come by because it looks good, and you're not pulling them in, or you're not having that conversation to allow them to even look at your product. So it's that you can't take all that in as an event coordinator, because it's not really your part of what your job is to do. You brought them the ability to have their product viewed. And sometimes, I tell you, man, I was like that. I had a restaurant years ago, and when I had all the people in front of the restaurant, I was afraid to go out there. I would look like, they eating the food. Oh my God. I closed the door back. I was like, and one day my sister said, you need to get out there and talk to those people. I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna ask about what I put in it, how I season it, and all this different stuff. And I just was afraid. It just wasn't me. Till one day, the unknown eater came over to the restaurant, and they want to videotape the whole cooking of the gumbo and the jambalaya. And I was like, oh my God. The next thing you know, I was on the news and on TV, and The next day I came to work, there was a line outside. I was like, oh my God, I gotta talk to these people. So I just learned that I know there's people like that, and I think that you make a very important point in saying that, because people need to hear that, even though you're a business owner, even though you're selling a product, even though you have a good product in your heart and mind, it ain't gonna go off the shelf until you communicate and have those conversations and talk about your product and be confident. And I think
Exactly.
that's one of those things that is the hard. Go ahead, Razak. I know you have a question.
I was gonna going down here, and I was looking at this. Is there a particular life lesson you learned that you would like to pass on to others?
I would say like go with that inside feeling, that gut feeling where you just know you will potentially explode, we all know when we get unhappy, we know when we get to our reaching points, and once you get there, I mean, if you could stop it before it gets that far, I mean, I definitely suggest, tapping into it. But if you know it's something that you can do every day, and you know you're gonna be happy and you'll wake up every day doing it, I mean, go for it. I'm not saying quit your job right away because you still you make socks or whatever you do, you know, just go about it the right way. You come up with a great idea, boom. All right, now how can you get it out there for other people to see? So join some of these different, opportunities to showcase your businesses at these marketplaces or whatever the case may be. See how good it is, listen to the feedback, enhance it if you need to, and just keep going with it. You know, um, I don't think nobody should be sitting in a cubicle or behind no desk 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day, and barely making it, robbing Peter to pay Paul. And you got to get up and once you touch the ground in the morning, you got to keep going on to stay off of somebody else's time. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, we only live once. And like, I think we all should just wake up and be able to be happy because we made the decision and the choice to be happy based off of what we want to do for a living.
Right.
That is so right. That is so right.
Sounds important too. Sounds
One of the
powerful.
things one of the things that I was thinking about was when you were talking earlier about legacy. Can you really define a little bit about what do you think your legacy goals are? I know you have your kids and everything, but in the big scheme of things, what is in your heart you want to leave as a legacy?
I want my daughter and my son and then my niece and my nephews, all the little ones to come, and even hell, the people that are my age, if they're not inspired by themselves already. But the legacy is basically, not necessarily the business that you created, but that mindset of winning, and you can win on your own. You don't need a whole big team to win. You don't need nobody telling you what to do, 9 hours out of the day to be a winner. So my legacy to me means that I'm passing down the mindset that you can own and run your own business successfully, and then hire within your own community and in your own race, and do it like these other races are doing. They're like stepping stones for one another, and everybody wins because everybody works together. And if we could kind of like get that mindset back, like, I'm not your competition, sis. I want to see you win, because if you win, I win. And I kind of want that mentality to kind of like keep trickling down to all the generations to come. But when it comes to legacy, to me, it just means that, you push hard for your dreams, your aspirations, the things that you want to do, and no one can stop you from doing what you want to do other than yourself. You get lazy or you get stagnant. Like, it's hard. It's easy to do that, but make sure you keep a good circle around you, people who want to see you win and who want to win with them themselves. And then y'all will be in a circle of pushing each other, and y'all will win, and you will eventually leave a legacy for your family.
Wow, you're right about that. Is that what you would tell the youth that's out there as well, or would you have a different message for those youth? Because as we know, there's a lot of youth that are out there that have a lot of talent that's being wasted, right? You see it every day. I mean, they can draw, but they don't use their draw. They can write, but they don't want to write stories. They have a lot of talent that's just not being used, and you have kids that you're raising. How do you see the youth, and what things that they need to see in your life that they can benefit from?
I think that the youth just need to make sure that they're tapping into like the right energy with people, people who are inspiring, people who want more for themselves. Because if you don't want more for yourself, there's no way you can push somebody else to want more for themselves. So I think we just need to have like more positive role models around. But then also these children and this youth need to have their own self-confidence, where even if I don't have nobody boosting me up, I know what I want to do is going to be something is a win game, and so just having that self-confidence, like maybe the reinsurance classes or courses, or just having people like myself or some of the entrepreneurs that I've dealt with that started from the bottom and now we're here. Like Drake said it best, right? So most youth can kind of like, when you put songs and rappers and stuff like that with it, it's like, oh, that makes sense, So make sure that they can relate to it, but still instilling that goal and that mindset, like you're a go-getter and you got to get out here and get it. You got to graduate because it's required, you know. But what they're teaching you in school, you ain't gonna need half of that stuff to be successful. All you need is your own passion. Get out there and you got it, and just meet the right people and stick with it though. Stick with it. It's gonna be hard. It's a roller coaster. It's up and down. So it's not going to always be easy, but it's definitely going to always be worth it at the end of the day.
Wow, you're right. You're definitely right about that. That's just one of the things that we got to keep pushing and passing down and keep hammering into our youth, our kids, our cousins, our everybody that we know, so they can see that even by looking at you, they see it. They know that something's different than what they see in other places. They see the fight. They see you ain't taking no and everything and everything is moving right through as it's supposed to be. So I wonder how you think about, like, is there any external factors or things that is going to change the way you plan to do your events, or how you want to set up your event? Is it outside things that are like hindering you in a way to try to expand the swap meet? Like you say, you want to go in all of these different states, which I agree. I was telling Razak earlier, it's just not about being just in San Diego and having this. It's want to be in different states, and people actually plan it. Oh man, look, man, so swap meet's gonna be here. They're gonna, you know what? I gotta take off, or you know what, I gotta leave early, or you know what, I'm flying in, I'm coming in because I know it's some vendors there that's gonna bring some stuff that I know I ain't gonna be able to normally get. How do you see that part? But is there factors that are out there that are hindering that, or do you think it's just about going out there and attacking it?
Capital is always an issue, obviously, because I'm not a nonprofit. However, I'm not in it to like blow up financially off of it. You know what I mean? My ultimate goal is to always cover my overhead, but then also, for the space that we're utilizing and whatever comes with it, DJs, whatever else comes with it, permits, stuff like that. And then, social media manager, general liability insurance policy, make sure that's taken care of, and then eat myself. I never really cared about myself winning until I saw everybody else winning. I was like, no, this don't feel right. This don't feel good at all.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just want to make sure that we go forward and have like the right partnerships in place. We did recently get a partnership with King Attorney, Antoine Howard. He is my business partner with King Attorney. He's got a lot of stuff going on himself as a business owner, but we work well together. We both know the common goal, and that's to see everybody winning, but then also for everyone to make money, so that they can go to the next step and obtain new goals or whatever the case may be. So just some new sponsorships or partnerships, or just tapping in where some of the funds are lying that we're not able to tap into because we don't know what's out there. So I'm definitely expanding different financial options for us. Hopefully we can get tapped in with like a credit union or a bank, so then not only does it help us with the finances that we need to keep it going, but then we can tap in for the other entrepreneurs that are coming up, that may struggle with getting accounts or whatever the case may be, or a business account. It's a at the end of the day, yes, again, we want them to sell their products, but we want them to start a real legit business. So that means obtaining your business license through the county, getting whatever permits you may need, getting your insurance, and then also getting your bank accounts, and just having them be on the right track and making sure they're accounting for the funds that they're receiving, what's going out, what's coming in, and run it like a real business so that no issues can come up and you can still be successful and just keep it moving.
And you say something, Razak, your head, because he's went through this process himself instead of going through this process. So
I'm in the process of doing all that right now. Getting my business off the ground, my website, my business account, doing all this stuff. I'm still, I like to say ground level. You know what I mean? Because it's that, in order to become that entrepreneur in the full sense of this is a business, this is my livelihood. I mean, I want to know all the ins and outs of making no mistakes. I don't want to get no lawsuits, liability, the DBAs and stuff. The getting these vendors licenses and doing all these things is just important for a business or a person to know before they even start their business. We have to be informed on what it is that we need to maintain it, in daily operations. And I had a question, kind of, you kind of answered it, but I kind of still want to ask you, how do you stay informed in the with the industry's trends? Like, what I mean, like so I'm looking at, I'm just learning how to find these events and stuff like that. So as I guess you would be an event coordinator or promoter, right? So, how is it, I don't want you to give up your secrets or nothing, but how do you find the resources and or publications to maintain what you do, as in providing a place for the vendors to go to? I mean, like, is there, a website that supplies all this, or do you really have to go on a search and find these things? I mean, how is that process?
So with the help of my social media manager, we try to tap into the different groups, like on social media, people that are actually looking for the space and opportunity to showcase their businesses. So me and her, kind of go on the hunt for that. We also tap into all of our resources, like Sister Cities Project, the colleges, like that we're dealing with, the junior colleges that we're getting our partnership with. We let them know what's going on. We just have a lot of different outlets. So we just share what we have going on. I have a partnership with Pachanga Arena. Myself, I actually work for Live Nation. Live Nation, a lot of people may not know what it is, but that's where the tickets come through Ticketmaster for like the concerts or comedy shows, things of that nature. So we try to tap in with all the different, resources that we have outside of the ones that we all know that we have together, so it's not about, what you do per se, but it's kind of about who you know as well, so that they can help, generate that marketing effort that's needed in order to make an event successful.
That's perfect. That's perfect. One of the things I wanted to ask you is, we try to partner with you as well. So we want to make sure that we say that on air, so that we're not going to make sure that gets thrown into the bucket somewhere. That will not be edited out for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm just really want to make that. But one of the things I wanted to say also is, what are the key takeaways or insight that you come away with today?
It's just to continue to be transparent. I think transparency is like one of the biggest keys of being in business. I'm one of those people, like, tell me what it is up front so I can make the best decision for myself to move forward. And that's what I like to do with everyone, running my business, my personal life as well. So I think it's just, continue to be transparent, continue to stand on business. If something doesn't make sense, it doesn't have to make sense. Don't always try to make, pieces of the puzzle, piece of the puzzle that for you, there's always missing pieces, but you don't always have to include other people. It's okay to say no. And also it's okay to keep moving on the journey that's meant for you. Everybody can't come, everybody can't go, everybody's not welcomed. And, I just say, like, believe in yourself, keep going, and everything will fall in place as it should. All closed doors aren't no's. It's just like you escaped something that was possibly going to do some harm to you, in one way or another. So I like closed doors. I like people that say no, or they think it's not a good fit, because, I always tell my daughter, and I tell people around me, like, the way you meet someone, whether that's in business, like emailing or whatever, if they take a long time to respond to you, or they're not engaging, those are signs that you guys are not good fits for each other, and I'm 100% cool with not being a good fit for someone, and I hope that the other side is okay with not being cool with what I'm doing. If you don't want to see people win equally and you want to see yourself win more than someone else, we definitely not going to mesh well together. I had to turn down a partnership yesterday because the numbers didn't make sense whatsoever, and I was like, this, no, like, you're insulting my intelligence at this point, and it's okay to tell people and check them, like, excuse me.
Oh,
The
wow. Yeah.
audacity, absolutely not, so hey, stand on business and continue
Right.
2024 and years to come. That's what we're gonna do.
Wow, you're right about that, because that's the only way
Yeah.
to have a business succeed is if you have a partnership that's going to work for both sides, and both sides are looking at making it work for the fact of the business itself. So that is
Yeah.
definitely good advice to all the people that are out there. So, well, I guess I was going to say ask you about a word of wisdom, but you just gave it, so there's no there's no reason for me to ask that question. But I think I really just wanted to express our thanks here at KF&JF podcast for you coming on, taking the time. I know this is your weekend and whatnot, but we really do appreciate it, and I can't tell you how much this is the information you provided for our listeners, and just the candidness of the way you came across is just is refreshing, because that needs to be seen, it needs to be heard, and I'm really proud of you for that. I'm proud of you for everything that you're doing, and I look forward to working with you and seeing you in other places that are out there at your events. And if I have to travel to certain places, I will travel the best I can, and then we'll do the best we can. Any last words from you, Razak?
Yes. I wanted to ask you. I'm going to take it back a little bit. If is there a way that you maybe see yourself as making the swap mall, the soul food swap mall, and all the other
Swap meat, man. Get it right.
swap all the other things together? Is there a way that because I'm thinking of like Black Wall Street type of, I'm kind of I'm on that right now, and I'm just thinking like, as you start to build and all these people are coming in, and you have a list of these different vendors and these clients and people that want the partnership, and they're waiting on the next event that to happen, and then they're going in there like that. Do you see the future maybe prediction that you are actually building maybe a spot, you know what I mean, or a singular spot, that instead of jumping around, that can grow in the terms of maybe its own society, you know what I mean, like of businesses put together? Do you see that future?
Oh, I definitely do. I'm not sure if the start would be here in San Diego. Unfortunately, in San Diego, it's just not as easy to get everybody on one accord for whatever reason it is. I don't know, but I'm sure it's everywhere. But one of the ultimate goals is to have a spot where we have these Black-owned businesses in one space. Like how they did it in Atlanta. You know, um, just make sure we do it the right way. Everybody, is accounted for, and, everybody has all their permits and anything that they need to have to be a real business, so we'll probably like start with like some classes so like everyone can do everything, like check everything off. Once you have everything checked off, it's okay. Now you're a great candidate to be a part of this. But again, it comes back down to capital. We'll just have to find the right spot, the right space, get some businesses locked in for like 6 months, maybe a year at a time, just to make sure that we're rotating the space and allowing everyone the exposure that's needed for them to continuously grow their businesses. We'll tap into some celebrities and, see if they can come out to that space and, purchase with these businesses. We have a lot that we want to do, and everything's obtainable. We just got to make sure, we stay the course and make sure we get this capital coming in.
Thank you.
Wow,
Thank you.
I think you're on the
Good
path already.
information.
You know what to do already. You've done it already. It's just like you're saying, putting all these pieces together and making sure you're finding the venues and places that you need to accommodate your vendors, and then and attacking that. So I am going to wish you definitely all the luck, and I'm definitely am just a little bit, you know, starstruck in a way, because I know right now, you're just, you may be thinking that you're not a star, but you a star, girl. You actually a
Hey,
star in this place of Black entrepreneurs. So we are definitely blessed to all of us to cross your path, because you're giving so much good information, and you're allowing us to be better. And as a business owner, and when you were talking about checking that box, my sister is the same way. She checked that box. She got your business license. She got your insurance. You got all this stuff together. Do your business plan. All this stuff. I was like, well, so I know when you say that there are people out there that may have that same thing. But what we're talking about today is the importance, by you creating that type of place for Black businesses to operate in. They need to go down that list to make sure that they can get in there. There's nothing stopping you from getting in there. It's the work you have to put in to do to make sure you make it so it benefits everybody. You get in there, you don't have a license, you mess up the event. So it's a lot of things that you said that is just spot on to the small business guy or girl, so that they are able to understand that it takes you to make it work, not just you, but it takes you. You the person itself. So so I am
Well said.
thankful and that you're on, and I look forward to us doing this again.
I appreciate it. Thank you. It was definitely a pleasure. I look forward to doing it again as well.
All right, all right. Hold on
thank
a
you for doing.
second.